Afternoon. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to go over chapters 10 through 12 in the Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. This is the fourth video in the 15 video series. I do appreciate you joining me today, so we're just going to jump right in with chapter 10. The chapter 10 is entitled The Lie You've Been Told, the Slow Lane. Okay, so in the previous videos we've highlighted that the sidewalker has no financial plan. Basically, they just run on instant gratification. Anything they find that they want, anything they want to buy, they get. There's no limitation. They don't care because you just live in the moment today. When you do that, you are living a chronic lifestyle that mortgages the future for a pleasurable today. So that's the sidewalk. But when you want to upgrade to the slow lane, the slow lane has the antithesis, which is you sacrifice today in hopes of a brighter tomorrow. So the sidewalk is instant gratification, while the slow lane is delayed gratification with having at least some kind of financial plan in place. So it's better to be on the slow lane than on the sidewalk is what I'm trying to get at here. As a slow lane traveler, you're deluged with a series of doctrines that plead discipline to the trade-off. Get a job and waste 5 days a week tolling at the office. Bag a lunch and stop drinking $10 coffee. So what DeMarco says, he highlights this maxim here that I thought was a brilliant maxim, except for like maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago when I discovered this book. But it was faithfully entrust 10 to 15% of your paycheck to the stock market and your 401k. And when you're on the slow lane, you quit dreaming about the sports cars in the windows because you can never buy them because you're on a paycheck to paycheck status, right? So he says with the slow lane, you would delay gratification until you're 65. You know, 65 is like the retirement age. And you'd be working hard all these years, save, and then compound interest. And then he says, voila, $10,000 invested today will be worth 10 gazillion, but we could say 10 million in 50 years. So after 50 years of saving, working your ass off, delaying your gratification on the slow lane, you finally made it to success with money. So now you can travel the world with your family, and now you can do what you want to do. But see, what's really interesting about this is what happens if your health is terrible when you're 65, or what happens if you don't make it to 65, then your discipline for saving all those years has basically, I guess, been given to your second generation. If you don't have kids, then I don't know who that. Hopefully that money won't go to Uncle Sam, because Uncle Sam's already taken a decent part of the paycheck. Says, for that the slow laner, their future crutches often justify a pleasurable now, and behind the scenes, lifestyle servitude swells. So if you remember in the last video we discussed lifestyle servitude, and lifestyle servitude is when you, let's say you get paid and you buy a new car and a new chain or a new piece of jewelry. You get some new subscriptions for some services that you're interested in, like streaming movies or a certain type of membership or whatever, and your money is now invested in these liabilities, if you will, that have monthly notes that you have to pay for, and that becomes lifestyle servitude. You have to go to work now because you have to pay for the bills that support your life. So he says that's the enemy of freedom here. That's the enemy of wealth, is lifestyle servitude. So the sidewalk is typically justified by undisciplined behavior, while the slow lane has a financial plan that introduces responsibility and accountability into the wealth formula. You have to be responsible. You have to be responsible for spending your money, or just saying that I'm responsible for spending my money and tracking it. But you also have to be accountable in knowing how much you're spending and being able to modify that behavior based on your results, okay? So we're going to continue with chapter 10 here. Had to flip my notes. It's beautiful outside. Camera game's still lacking, but that's alright because I'm still trying. That's a bet. So let's see. Let's go. Says rich at 25 years old beats the snot out of Rich at 65. I definitely do agree with that. If the principles for being wealthy don't matter as long as you apply them, regardless of which age group you're in, then wouldn't it make more sense to be wealthy when we're 25, 30, however young you are, rather than being rich at like 55 or 60, because we'd be able to enjoy the wealth while we're healthy, while we're young, while we're vibrant, while we can. See, so he says that for a slow laner, Saturday and Sunday is the paycheck for Monday through Friday. It's really interesting what DeMarco says. The default return on your time in the slow lane is negative 60%. 5 days of your life given for 2 days of freedom. 5 days of your finite life that you will never get back for 2 days of freedom. Honestly, that's probably the biggest still in the whole book. When you read that line like a couple times, you realize that Uncle Sam knows this, right? He knows what the average lifespan of human beings are, right? And we're just put to work. We get some money for our work. We put in 5 days, and we only get 2 days back to really enjoy our life. That doesn't sound like a very brilliant trade at all, but it's the trade that a lot of people are making in America. So when you understand what the fast lane is, then you're able to adjust your mindset, adjust your choices, adjust your actions so that you can get off the slow lane. If you're on the sidewalk, you got to get off the sidewalk to get on the slow lane. And if you're on the slow lane, you got to get off the slow lane to get on the fast lane, okay? That being said, we're going to go to chapter 11 here, which is titled The Criminal Trade, Your Job. In a job, you sell freedom. You sell your freedom in the form of time. It's finite. For freedom in the form of money. Money, I wouldn't say it's infinite, but Uncle Sam can print more of it. Experience is gained in action. Okay? So wealth accumulation is thwarted when you don't control your primary income source. This is really what I've been working on lately. I love my family so much. I really do. My grandmother, I was at her house the other day fixing her printer, as grandsons or granddaughters do. They always are fixing things or helping their grandparents because that's what, whatever. But she was just really excited about me. Like, it was kind of getting towards the time where I had to go to my job, and she was like, I don't care. As long as you have a job, you're good. Like, you could fix that printer another day, but you have a job, which is cool. And in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, I do have a job, but I also have a side business, which I'd like to turn into a money tree. Having a job is cool, man, but like, I just don't want a job. Like, I don't want to have to clock in. I really like the idea that I can control my income source. At a job, you can't control anything. DeMarco gives the example of a pickup truck. When you're riding in the slow lane, you're basically in the bed of a pickup truck, while the driver has all the advantages to them. They are comfortable, they're snug, and they enjoy the ride. But you're subject to the weather changes, you're subject to bumps in the road, and hey, if it gets too hectic, you could even get thrown overboard. That's the analogy of having a job right there. But hey, when you have your own business, your own money tree, man, you could design the truck. You could ride in the truck, you can design the interior, you could design the exterior, you could decide who rides in it with you. You could do everything. So I guess the big thing here is having a job is cool, but having a money tree is cooler. For real. So that's chapter 11. All right, let's talk a little bit more about chapter 11 here. All right, so he gives 6 suckages. He says 6 reasons why having a job and being on the slow lane, or at least having a job, is a terrible plan. So I'm going to go through them really quickly. Suckage 1 is to trade time is to trade life. Okay? So what you have to realize is that the average human lifespan is 74 years, okay? And your job, they don't factor that in. Your job you just report there, you clock in, you make your paycheck, and you clock out. But you give 8 hours of your day every day that you'll never be able to give back. Wouldn't it be better if you gave those 8 hours, made your paycheck, and then while you got home, you created something wonderful, something that you're really passionate about, that could eventually replace that job, so that those 8 hours can be yours and you can decide what you want to do with that time. You no longer have to be responsible to clocking in. So that's suckage 1, is to trade your time, is to trade life. Suckage 2 is limitation on experience. For example, I work as a front desk agent at the Hilton Garden Inn. I really enjoy my job, by the way, but I've been there for about a month, and now I pretty much understand everything that's going on. I'm not really learning anything new now. It's all pretty much in my subconscious mind, a lot of routines, a lot of habits. So what that means is I'm getting a limited amount of experience now, but as a blogger, as an entrepreneur, as a networker, as a person who goes to meetups and stuff like that, I develop my communication skills, I develop my professionalism, I develop my portfolio, I develop my content, I develop my reach. Those are all different skills that I get to experience outside of the job. So although the job may present some experience, you might think like, with this job I'll get this experience, whatever. It's not as much experience as if you were trying to create something on your own. As DeMarco points out, I really enjoy that. All right, so suckage 3 is no control. We talked about this in the first few videos, but this is important. This is like one of the key points in the book is leverage and control. But hey, at the job, you have no control. I don't control when I get to punch in. Like, they have my schedule for me. I don't control where I'm positioned or what kind of work I do at my job. Nope, they tell me it's in my job description. You know, they tell me how much I do for the rate that I get paid. But when you have your own business, you get to pay other people. You get to determine that type of roles and stuff, and you get to focus on the part of the business that you really shine at once you've developed it. Says suckage number 3, so no control. Suckage number 4 is Linda's bad breath. I talked about this. Office politics, as DeMarco points out. When I get to my job, I gotta be in conversations that I don't really care about. I gotta answer the phone to customers and listen to them, and I honestly don't care about their situation or what their issues are or what their frustrations are. But that's part of my job. Part of my job, and it's not in the job description, is to engage in conversation with my coworkers just to pass time. And to be honest, actually 100% of the time, I'm really not interested in what they have to say. It's really just small talk, things I won't remember or things that just aren't important in the greater scheme of life. So it's really frustrating when you have a job, you have to kind of, for that 8 hours, you have to participate in office politics, and you have to basically just act like someone you're not, just to get the time passed, just so you can clock out and be on your job, your real job, which is developing your own business. So that's suckage number 4 is office politics / Linda's bad breath. Suckage 5 is a subscription to pay yourself last. And I can see that I'm kind of running out of time, so we're going to have to go quickly. But think about it. When you get paid, when I see my paycheck, I think at least 21% of my paycheck is automatically taken from my account before I even see it. So it's a subscription to pay yourself last. Every time I get a paycheck, Uncle Sam is like, hey, Dallas, I got you again. Hey, Dallas, I got you again. Hey, Dallas, I got you again. And it's just like, what, 100, 200, 100, 200. But that shit adds up by the end of the year. So what he's saying is, and think about it, when you have your own business, there are different tax laws that apply. If you get like an LLC or a S Corp or a partnership, whatever type of entity you do, I think there's a tax last effect. So you can get all your profits, pay all your expenses, and then be taxed on the remaining income. Don't quote me. I'm not a financial advisor / tax prep person. But I do know that the tax laws are more unfavorable for business owners rather than employees. So he says suckage 5 of having a job is a subscription to pay yourself last. Hey, but Uncle Sam doesn't mind because Uncle Sam is getting paid off his ass when you're an employee. All right, so suckage 6 is a dictatorship on income. And what that means, in all simplicity, is you can't go to your boss and say, hey, boss, I demand 1,000% raise. Hey, I'm valuable to the company. Hey, I work hard and I support everyone and we build a great organization and I demand 1,000% raise. Your boss is going to say, get out of my office. You're not getting 1,000% raise. Hey, but when you own your own business, when you have your own control and your own leverage, you can decide to give 1,000% more of your effort in your public reach, or in your content development, or in your networking ability, or in your ability to strengthen the network you already have. And when you do that, you can effectively increase your income 100%, 200%, 300, maybe even 1,000%. And you don't have to answer to anyone. No one can tell you no by that point because you control and you can leverage the own asset that you have created, okay? All right, so that was suckage number 6. Those are the 6 suckages of having a job. I don't want to tell you that you shouldn't have a job. Jobs are beautiful. Jobs allow you to make money and to have money in your account or whatever. But I really appreciate the job that I have right now. I love it so much. But I really appreciate the fact that when I clock out it's time for me to really work and to develop my brand and my product. So chapter 12, let's see if we can finish this before 17 minutes. That would beat the last one. All right, so somebody should tell us right at the start of our lives that we are dying. Then we might live life to the limit, every minute of every day. Do it, I say. Whatever you want to do, do it now. There are only so many tomorrows. And DeMarco quotes this out from Michael Landon. I saw the Pope that was also quoted for this, so I don't know who actually quoted this, but just thinking about that, it's just like every day, like we're living, I like to think in my mindset that we are living, but we're not necessarily improving in health. We're just kind of maintaining what we already have. So just being aware that every day we have to really just go after it and get it. But when you have a job, it's kind of hard to do that. It's kind of hard to separate your Mondays from your Tuesdays, from your Wednesdays, from your Thursdays. But when you're developing your business on the side, you got to make every day count. You got to make your life count, because you never know. You never know. So he says, if the slow lane is your get-rich strategy, DeMarco makes a likely assumption. And what he says is, you're not rich and you never will be. And he's like, how can I be so sure? It's because the slow lane is rooted in Yule, which is unlimited, or not unlimited, I do apologize. Yule represents uncontrollable, limited leverage. If you want, the saying that he gives is, if you're on the slow lane, you'll never get rich. It's uncontrollable, limited leverage. That's what a job is. You have no control. You can't demand 1,000% raise. You have no leverage. Your time is your time. You get paid a rate, or you might get paid for salary, or you might get paid for commission. But ineffectively, you get paid for how much time you put in. You can't leverage your time and say, now my hour is worth 4 times as much as it used to be. You can't do that on a job. You have to have your own assets, your own real estate, if you will, to make your hours 2 or 3 or 4 times as much when you really start exponentially increasing the rate at which you get paid, okay? It says the first variable in the slow lane wealth equation evolves from a job, okay? And like I said, the job has the intrinsic value you get paid for a job is based on your time. And everyone has 24 hours a day, and the average lifespan is 74 years for your life. That is a certain amount. You can't get more time, which means you can't use time as a factor in your wealth equation, because time is finite. It's not something you can add more of. Everyone has the same amount of time. So what then you have to do is you have to start going to cool, which is explained in the next few videos. But cool is controllable, unlimited leverage. And when you start using cool instead of Yule, then you think in the mindset of when you create your own assets, your own products, your own content, and then you effectively start to decide your rate, and you can increase it, well, you wouldn't decrease it, but you can increase it however much you want to by deciding like where you strategically put your attention, which is really interesting. DeMarco explains a lot about that towards the end of this book. It's an excellent book. So let's wrap up for today. It's been a pleasure. Just remember that in your wealth equation, time is not something. So when you do like the buy and hold strategy, or you invest in an account and say in 10 years I'll be wealthy, time is really, I don't want to say it like this, but time is not on our side. So we should take advantage of every hour by understanding that time shouldn't be the sole reason of how we make income. You feel me? I shouldn't trade 8 hours to make $100. Instead, I should trade, this is just in my mind, I'm not telling what you should do. I should trade 8 products and leverage those across many countries, many niches, or just one niche or whatever, and use that profit to effectively remove myself from the time element. See, I've already put the time in to create the products, but now that the products are created, I can market, I can expand. From there, I can use those products to make money, and I would no longer have to just be giving my time. And that way, that time can be used to spend time with my family, spend time with my friends, or really just doing whatever the hell I want to do. See, when you understand the sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane, But then you take the knowledge and you apply it to get off the sidewalk into the slow lane, and then to get off the slow lane into the fast lane. Then you have some real knowledge. You have some real wealth. You have a real chance at becoming wealthy at a young age. I really do appreciate you for watching. It's been an excellent start to my day. I actually have to work in an hour, so I got to get out of here. Next week, we're doing chapters 13 through 15. I do appreciate you for watching my videos. Seriously, I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Peace.